In a landmark decision that could reshape the landscape of administrative law and federal regulation, the U.S. Supreme Court recently overturned the Chevron doctrine. This doctrine, originating from the 1984 Supreme Court case Chevron USA, Inc. v. Natural Resources Defense Council Incorporated, mandated that federal courts must defer to federal agencies' interpretations of ambiguous laws unless those interpretations were unreasonable. This principle has played a pivotal role in shaping the boundaries of regulatory and judicial powers. The significance of this decision cannot be understated. For over 40 years, Chevron deference has allowed agencies with specialized expertise to craft policies that address complex and evolving societal issues without direct oversight from the judicial system. This has especially been crucial in areas like environmental protection, public health, and workplace safety, where agencies like the EPA, FDA, and OSHA have used their discretion to enforce and expand the scope of legislation. The Supreme Court's ruling changes this dynamic dramatically. By removing the obligation of judicial deference to agency interpretations of ambiguous statutes, the court has signaled a major shift towards increased judicial oversight of regulatory actions. Critics of the Chevron doctrine argue that it gave too much power to unelected agency officials, allowing them to effectively create new laws without accountability. Proponents, however, have maintained that agencies are better equipped to handle specialized issues due to their expertise and quicker responsiveness compared to the legislative process. This decision is expected to lead to a more cautious approach by federal agencies. Fearful of increased litigation and judicial reversals, agencies may now hesitate to assert aggressive regulatory interpretations. This could potentially slow down the implementation of new policies, particularly those addressing emerging health and environmental issues where scientific and technical expertise is crucial. Supporters of the decision argue that it restores an essential check on the power of the administrative state, aligning regulatory actions more closely with the intentions of Congress and enhancing democratic accountability. Opponents, however, warn that it could undermine the ability of agencies to effectively address complex challenges that require specialized knowledge and flexible responses. The impact of this ruling extends beyond environmental and health regulations. Financial regulations, consumer protections, and labor laws could all see changes in how they are enforced and interpreted. Agencies might now need to provide more detailed justifications for their decisions, anticipating the need to defend them in court against challenges that could previously have been dismissed under Chevron deference. The Supreme Court's decision also reflects broader political and ideological debates about the role of government and the balance of powers between the branches. This ruling is part of a trend in recent years where the court has taken a more active role in shaping administrative law, reflecting the current justices' perspectives on federalism and the separation of powers. Legal experts anticipate a significant increase in litigation as parties previously deterred by Chevron deference now see a greater chance of success in challenging agency decisions. This could result in more regulatory uncertainty and a potential slowing of governmental responsiveness to new and emerging issues. The end of Chevron deference marks a critical moment in U.S. administrative law, raising fundamental questions about how laws are implemented and by whom. As agencies adjust to this new legal landscape, the effects of this decision will continue to unfold in the coming years. Now, let's explore some frequently asked questions about this topic. What is Chevron deference? Chevron deference was a legal principle that required federal courts to defer to a federal agency's interpretation of an ambiguous law that it administers. Why did the Supreme Court overturn Chevron deference? The court overturned Chevron deference because it believed that this principle gave too much power to federal agencies, reducing the role of the courts in interpreting laws. What are the implications of this decision for federal agencies? Federal agencies may become more cautious in their regulatory interpretations, leading to slower policy implementation and more litigation. How might this affect environmental regulations? Environmental regulations could be particularly impacted, with stricter judicial scrutiny possibly slowing down the enactment of new regulations dealing with pollution and climate change. What does this mean for public health? In public health, agencies like the FDA may face more challenges in swiftly responding to emerging health crises due to increased judicial oversight. Can this decision be appealed? Supreme Court decisions are final, although Congress can pass new legislation to address the effects of the ruling. Will this lead to more lawsuits against federal agencies? Yes, it is likely that there will be an increase in lawsuits challenging federal agency decisions that were previously protected under Chevron Deference. Does this ruling affect all federal agencies equally? While all agencies will be affected, those that deal with more technical and specialized areas may experience greater impacts. What is the role of Congress in this new regulatory landscape? Congress may need to draft more precise laws to ensure that their intentions are clear and do not require much interpretation by agencies. How do legal experts view this change? Opinions vary, with some viewing it as a necessary correction to an overextended administrative state and others seeing it as a setback for effective governmental regulation. In conclusion, the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Chevron deference is a landmark change with wide-reaching implications for federal regulation. It challenges long-standing norms of administrative law and sets the stage for a new era of regulatory governance. For more in-depth discussions on this and related topics, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for upcoming videos.